Hi everyone, I'm David Aragona taking a look at the future race at Assiniboia Downs on Monday night. It is the Manitoba Derby, which is going as race 6. And if you're typically following our Assiniboia coverage on the Daily Racing Forum YouTube channel, you know it's typically Ashley Mayu covering these races. Ashley's unavailable today, so I'm going to be a pinch hitter for Ashley to take a look at this big race. $125,000 Manitoba Derby going the 9 furlong distance for the 3-year-olds later tonight. And we're going to have a big favorite in here in the number 7, Take Charge Tom. He's listed at 1-2 on the morning line. His trainer, Robertino Diodoro, has had a lot of success in this race over the years. He's won 4 of the last 9 runnings of the Manitoba Derby, and he's bringing in the top contender this year, a horse who has plenty of back class racing against some tough rivals in the United States, and some horses that have appeared on the Kentucky Derby Trail going back to earlier this year. Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector to see where these horses might be placed in the early stages of this race. And couple of the horses that are coming out of the local prep for this, the Derby trial, figure to be forwardly placed, including the number 8, Just Trust Me, who was the pace setter in that Derby trial. And he's likely to go forward from his outside post once again. We'll see how far he can carry his speed this time. But Take Charge Tom was applying pressure every step of the way in that last race. We'll see how aggressively he's ridden here. The number 1, Border Song, has shown some speed on occasion, as well as the number 3, Mr. Jaws. Let's go through this field from the rail out, beginning with Border Song, the horse drawn in the inside post position. And I think distance is going to be the big question for this horse, because he showed some ability on debut when he won sprinting the 5.5 furlong distance at Century Mile. Since then, his speed figures have gradually taken steps backwards, and that's happened as he stretched out in distance. I thought he was somewhat disappointing last time in a stakes race, going the mile in a 16th distance at his home track. So this is going to be a tall order for the number 1, Border Song. The number 2, Acknowledge, is a horse that was actually based in Kentucky and Louisiana for the early part of his career with trainers like Joe Sharp and Bob Hess. He was switched to a different trainer to race at Assiniboia Downs for the first time in his most recent start, and was pretty disappointing that day. He did stumble out of the gate, but after that, Acknowledge didn't do much running. He was wide around the turn, unable to really pick up any ground as the 1-5 favorite. He's going to have to run a lot better than that if he's going to be competitive in here. Does have some good races to go back to, but we'll see if he can do it at this new venue. The number 3, Mr. Jaws, I think one of the more interesting long shots that you can make a case for in this Manitoba Derby, because this horse has plenty of experience going 2-turn distances, so distance is not supposed to be a problem for him. He was claimed for just $7,500 3-back at Lone Star Park, and he's run some improved races for the new connections. He won a turf race 2-back at a big price, upsetting a tough field at 18-1. And then last time, I know it looks like a step backwards, but when you watch the replay of that race, this horse got steadied about 5 or 6 times during the running of that race. So it's one that I would just draw a line through. He had a nightmare trip on that occasion. He's switching back to the dirt here for a trainer that did win this race 2 years ago with a 15-1 shot that he claimed just a couple of starts before winning the Manitoba Derby. So I think the number 3, Mr. Jaws, is an intriguing long shot to consider. The number 4, Attack, is another horse that is new to this circuit. He competed at Woodbine and Gulfstream Park early in his career for trainer Mark Casse, but was doing so on synthetic and turf, where he's run his highest speed figures. Didn't seem like he ran quite as well on the dirt last time, just kind of lacked some finish as the even money favorite in the race at Century Mile. And when you look at his pedigree, a lot of turf influences on the bottom side. So I wonder if he's going to have that same upside on the dirt once again here. The number 5, War is Hell, he was the 3rd place finisher of just 3 runners in that Derby trial, the local prep for this race, and was never really a factor, went off at 21-1 in that very small field. And he's going to have to run a lot better than that to be competitive with this group. He is a horse that has been improving his speed figures in recent starts, but this still seems like it's going to be a tough spot for him. The number 6, Maldini, is a horse that is coming in from Woodbine for this race and has primarily competed on synthetic, tried turf a couple times. This will be his first start on the dirt. And when you look at his pedigree, you get some mixed signals. It's a little bit more turf and synthetic focused on the bottom side. His sire, Vino Rosso, is a solid dirt route influence. When you look up his stats in DRF Formulator, he wins with 16% of his dirt route starters. So perhaps Maldini can improve on their surface. He's another one that you don't really worry about the distance too much, because he's been finishing well in his mile and the 16th races on the synthetic. The number 7, Take Charge Tom, is going to be a heavy favorite in this race, but his local prep for this didn't exactly inspire confidence. And we'll take a look at the replay of the stretch run of the Derby trial run at Assiniboia Downs back on July 14th, where he hooked up with Just Trust Me, who we'll get to in a second. And for a horse that went off at 1 to 20 odds, Take Charge Tom made his backer sweat a little bit because he came under pressure first of these two leaders, was under a hard drive coming into the stretch, looked like he was just going up and down for a while, and eventually he's able to assert himself through the late stages to get the job done by just 3/4 of a length as a heavy, heavy favorite. Now, if you're just looking at this race, you might think he's vulnerable, but you look back at his prior form, and he's run some races, I was saying earlier, against some tough competition that are going to make him way too strong for this field to handle, facing horses like Instant Replay 2 back in the Texas Derby, Getaway Car and Caldera going back to the Sunland Park Derby earlier in the season, and it's not like he was disgraced in those losses. So Take Charge Tom has a race in him that will make him way too tough for this field. It's just a matter of whether or not he's heading in the wrong direction, which that last race might indicate. Number 8, Just Trust Me, rounding out this field. He was the one dueling to the wire with Take Charge Tom last time out in the Derby trial, and he was actually traveling well around the far turn, like he might actually have a chance to pull off the upset that day. He got reeled in at the very end, and I think the distance got to him because he is a horse that has had most of his success going shorter distances. He's a stakes winner at 5 furlongs. It seemed like sprint distances are really his bread and butter. He couldn't quite get the mile last time. Now he's been being asked to stretch out an extra furlong, so I don't have a lot of hope that he can turn the tables on the horse that beat him last time, but at least he's proven that he belongs at this stakes level. Let's go to my picks for this Manitoba Derby on Monday night. As I was alluding to earlier, of all the big prices in this race, I think the one that I can make a decent case for is the number 3, Mr. Jaws. I got confidence he's going to get the distance, that he had that nightmare trip on the turf last time, and these are connections that have had success in this race before. So I'll take a small shot against that heavy favorite, the number 7, Take Charge Tom, in the Manitoba Derby on Monday night at Assiniboia Downs. Good luck if you're playing the races later this evening.